There's some questions like how are the bees, how are the horses, and how is Luke? Those are very common questions. They're asked, I think, every week during the live show. So we're going to go through those 3 questions and maybe a few other things in this video tonight. I'm going to try to get this uploaded before the live show tomorrow. Hopefully tonight, so you guys can watch it and we'll just chat about it a little bit during the show. So we're going to take a little walk around the property right here at the horse barn. Forgive the sound of the pool pump over here. It's a little noisy. Look at that huge rubber ducky. Rubber ducky, you're the one. I probably shouldn't sing. Right here in the horse barn, here's the horses. Hey, Teo. How you doing, big boy? See, they think it's food time. I'm not ready for that. Hey, Maggie. Pretty girl. Teo had a little bit of a sore tummy a few nights ago, and yeah, we had to doctor him up. We had to go to the vet and get some medicine for him, and then we made sure he had lots of water with electrolytes. That's kind of like a Gatorade solution that we would drink as people. Look, he's been drinking his water today. That's good. Good boy, Teo. Yeah. We also added a fan in here. I don't know how much good it's doing, but it is 100 degrees most days. And, oh wait, I want to talk about this. But it's 100 degrees, and I thought it would be nice to have a little bit of air circulation inside the barn. Now, the horses aren't really in the barn that often, so that fan's running. It would be nice to set it up on a motion sensor so that when they come in, it would turn on, and when they're not, it's not. But right now, I don't have that. But I'm going to show you this hay, the tack room. I call this the feed and tack room on the end of the barn here. I was able to go pick up 30 bales. It's a little dark in here. 30 bales of hay. And I had never gotten that much hay all at one time. It was kind of fun. But now that I've done that, I know that the trailer that I borrowed from a neighbor will hold probably 60 bales. And I'm pretty certain that this space in here will hold 60 bales as well. So that's going to be my goal next time I go to the field, because I bought it direct from a farmer. I'm going to go pick up 60 bales of hay. It's a lot cheaper when you buy it bulk like that. Okay, now as we walk around, first of all, the questions, how are the bees, how are the horses, how is Luke? So let's just talk about the horses since we're here. I told you Teo had a little bit of a tummy ache, but he got over that. It was only one night. We stayed up through the night every hour checking on him, and he did just fine. They call that colic when they have a tummy ache, and yeah, he got over it pretty quickly. Some horses aren't so lucky, but Teo and Maggie, they're enduring the heat pretty well. They stay up in the shade. They do go in and out of the barn, but they like to hang out in the shade up here. I'll show you these trees right here. These are their most, I was going to say they're most famous. These are their favorite trees. This tree right here, there's a nice bit of shade along with this one right here and somewhat over here. But right in this area, this is where they like to hang out the most. And right back here are the bees. We're going to go check those out. I have some news about the bees. Not about the bees exactly. I got the mic shadow on my face. So I did extract some honey. I didn't get any video of that because it's another one of those times when I just needed to get it done. There are more frames of honey in the hives. I might get some more here tomorrow or next week. What happened was I extracted, it was, let's see, a total of 20 frames, and I got almost 5 gallons out of those 20 frames. So that was a lot of fun. I have a very popular video on my channel, you've probably seen it, about extracting the honey, and a lot of people make a lot of comments, and that video has almost, well, is it over 500,000 views yet? It might be. It's a lot of views. So we're out here at the apiary, and I want to show you some of the things that I have sitting out here in the corner after the extraction. So the bees really do a great job of cleaning up the stuff that makes that gets messy when you're doing the extraction. So all these frames here are the ones that I did the extraction from. Let me see if I can do this without getting stung. And the bees have already cleaned it out. Real nice. So they left their honeycomb, but they took all the honey out. I extracted the honey, and then they went and cleaned it out real nice and pretty. So, and then in the white bowl here is honey and wax, honeycomb and wax, and the bees are cleaning up that real nice as well. When you do the extraction, there's a lot of honey still left on the wax and on the equipment. So rather than rinse that down the drain, I like to bring it out here and let the bees take care of that and get some of that honey back and take it back into the hives. Here's the 3 hives. Now you can see all of them have bees coming and going. I haven't checked on them in over a week now, but I think they're pretty good. This hive, where is it? Right there in the middle. Still has a lot of honey on it. This one has a little bit of honey on it. The first one, I took most of the honey out. They are bringing more resources in, so they're going to be making a lot more honey that I won't be taking this year. They're going to have honey for the winter, all their own. That's what I like to do to help keep them, you know, nourished and ready to go for the winter. So how are the bees? They're doing great. They're producing honey, and the hives look good. They're coming and going. There are some local beekeepers that are selling hives right now, and I consider getting a few more for this area, but we'll see how that goes with the budget. We can talk about the horse area, the horse field. What I'm discovering is that the space that we have available for our horses isn't really big enough for 2 horses, and that's too bad. We're gonna have to figure something out, because most of this area, they have really eaten up all the grass, and it doesn't help that the Texas summer is just brutal on grass. It's really hot, it's really dry, and when you have animals, 1,000-pound animals walking on it and turning that surface over and eating the tops of that grass, it's really hard for the grass to stay established. Over in this area, the grass is still doing okay, but I have some areas that right now is just dirt, and I have to figure something out for that. But look, we have cactus fruit. This is the prickly pear. A lot of people eat those purple fruit. I don't remember exactly how the conversation happened, but I was talking about canning jellies or whatever, and this lady who was a cashier at the grocery store was asking me if I had canned prickly pear, made anything out of prickly pear fruit, which is the purple cactus fruit. And I told her no, I hadn't. Well, she said, look it up. Anything that you can make with plums, you can also make with those. It's basically a 1-for-1, she said. Now, I still haven't done it, but it's interesting to know that you can make something like a jelly or a jam or other treats, just substituting the cactus fruit for a plum. Maybe someday I'll try that. Now over here, my neighbor has a beautiful piece of property. He's got lots of acreage back here, and then also up here by his house. But right here behind these poles is a laneway, and he has told me that he and I together will put a gate here, and that will allow us access over here into his property. There's like 5 acres here and another 5 acres over there, and he said that we could ride the horses over there. So maybe I could even arrange it to where we can let the horses graze, giving them a little bit of a chance to get off this area so they're not completely abusing the grass over here. We have plans too. I have plans. Now this was not part of my original plans, but you know, when you have kids that they want to do stuff, sometimes your plans change. So now I have a 15-year-old daughter that has 2 horses, and those horses have needs, and she is now actually doing some training Oh, the light's much better over here. She's doing some training with a few other, she has some students where she's training them to take care of horses and ride the horses. And so she's going to need some area to work. So right over here, I am considering, see, originally I had made this area that was going to be like a round pen. But instead, what I think we're going to do is take this whole area here and make a large oval, elevated, you know, put some soil in there from other places, because I'm going to take soil out of other places, and we're going to build that up and make an arena. That'll give her a place to ride that is a lot more safe, a lot more contained, and the horses behave a little better when they have some boundaries. So the horses are great anyway. Teo and Maggie are really, really good, but they do behave a little better with unexperienced or inexperienced riders when they have some boundaries. So if we can make some boundaries over here and make a large oval arena, I think that will be a lot of fun for her and better for her students. Alright, what's next? Well, we do have to talk about Luke, but before we do that, let's take a little walk around the farm and maybe we can see a few other things. We'll be out to feed you guys in a little bit. Looking good, Maggie. Looking good. I guess I can show you a little bit of the garden. It actually looks pretty terrible right now. The garden is sucking up water any chance it can, but it's just drying out. It's too hot. It's 100 degrees every day, and the GREENSTALK garden in the middle, the strawberries just can't take the heat. But some of the other things, the longevity spinach and other things, they're doing okay. Everything else is pretty much wiped out. The blackberries are barely holding on. The chaya is not doing too bad. You can see the chaya or kaya, whichever, right there. They're doing pretty good. I really got to fix the leak in this. But actually, the ducks really love the fact that I have not fixed it yet, because whenever I leave the hose on for a little bit, they get a nice place to hang out and swim around and eat. Whatever they eat in the mud, they love this spot. They saw me coming, so they went back over here. It's getting about that time where all the animals, every time they see us come out in the evening, they think it's time for to go to bed and to get their dinner. Actually, reverse order, dinner and then bed. But we're not ready for that yet. I'm just out doing a video. Well, let me show you Sally the pig. Have you heard the story of Sally the pig? Sally is a white potbelly pig. Where is she? Let's go see if we can find her. Hey Fawn, where's Sally? Have you guys seen Sally? Huh? Is she sleeping? Did she take a nap? Where is she? A lot of times Sally's hanging out here under the trees, but I'll bet she's inside the pen over here. Let's go see if we can find her. Oh, there she is. Hey Sally, you gonna come out? What's going on, Sally? So the story of Sally is that one day I was out on the front porch of the cabin, the house, and talking to somebody, and I heard a snort. And I thought, boy, that sounds like a pig. And she was in the yard. She had walked in our gate, up the driveway, and was standing right there by the front porch. She has a little limp. I have no idea how old she is. I have no idea what kind of life she's had. But she showed up, and she moved in. She really did. I did not want a pig. I didn't want any more animals, but we can, I guess we have room for a pig, because she moved in with the goats. I opened the goat door. She followed me in, and she has followed the goats around ever since. Now today I was talking with Mama Kirbs, and I was telling her, I said, you know, that free pig has cost us so far 2 50-pound bags of food and a water container. I'll show you that in a second. And she said, well, Sally belongs here. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess, you know, because she did show up and she stayed and we're feeding her. She said, no, I can feel it in my heart. Okay, I'm a man, and there's some things I just don't feel like women do. And the feeling that the pig belongs here in my heart, I don't quite get it like she does. But you know what? Mama Kirbs is always right. So there she is, Sally the pig, hanging out. She just loves chilling. Like I said, she has a little limp, so she doesn't get around a whole lot. She does love this area, and she loves getting in the goat water. So today, we went and made a purchase. It was a little pricey for us. We don't typically buy expensive stuff, but here we go. I bought a nice big heavy-duty tub because Sally likes to lay in. This is a little tub over here. We have that little container there. We have the pool. Prior to Sally showing up, all 3 of those containers held water. Now only one of them does. The black one over here. Where is it? Over there. The black one holds water because it's a little more rugged, but those 2 blue plastic ones they're ready to be recycled because Sally has climbed in and her feet, you know, because they have, I guess because she's heavier and she has pointier feet, yeah, they don't hold water anymore. So I got to get rid of those. But I did purchase this one, and it's heavier dutier. And the only thing I'm not sure about is if Sally can get over that tall sidewall. So we may have to create a little ramp or something. But it is nice and large, and she'll be able to get in it and cool off. And Sally will be happy. And then maybe the goats will be happy because there won't be a lot of pig mud in their drinking water. I guess since we're in here, I can give you a little bit of a show of the chickens. We do have some fancy chickens, the silkies. We have several areas where silkies live, but here's one pen back here where we have some that are a little better show quality or whatever, and they're pretty birds. And so we have them up over here. They get plenty of fresh water and shade, and that's really important because the silkies don't always do well in the heat. And we've lost, I think, 4 this year, and that's really disappointing, especially to Mama Kirbs, because the silkies are her favorite animals. The silkies are her favorite animals on the farm. So let's give you a little look here. This is what we call the red tractor because it is painted red on a couple of the sides. And so there they are, living down there. They walk underneath, they eat underneath, and then they have a space up on top. Oh look, they're laying eggs. That's where they sleep and roost and lay their eggs and all that chicken stuff. Well, everything looks really kind of bad right now because it's so dry. Everything is just crusty and brown, and this is what we have to get through every year. June, July, August are typically the very hot months here in Texas, and everything just kind of suffers. A lot of times, you know, I equate it to kind of like you guys who live up north. You have to just hunker down and get through the winters. And things suffer in the winter as well because of the cold and the freezing. It's just the opposite for us. We have to get through the heat of June, July, and August. We do have a little bit of freezing in the winter sometimes. Most years we have a few days of freezing. But for the most part, it's pretty mild winters. So let's see what else. Oh, look at this. This is a result of a whole lot of heat in clay soil and no rain, not very much rain. It just cracks all over. But that closes up. As soon as we get some good rains, it'll close up and we'll be in good shape again. Over here is the butterfly garden. I'll give you just a look. I do water. Hey Annie. How you doing, girl? Okay, bye-bye. So I do water using the sprinkler. I also do occasionally put water in the oyas, which are the underground clay pots. That's there, and there's another one over there somewhere. Yeah, right there. And the plants are doing okay. There's some of the plants here that were butterfly related plants. I have to look it up to see what they are again, but we have these, the ground cover here, of course the clover that was put in all over to help fix the soil, and some of those larger plants, and my sign, the butterfly garden. I can't pretend and act like I know what all those plants are. Drake White, the butterfly lady, she helped me install this garden, and every time I have a question about butterflies or pollinators or native plants, I just send her a note on Facebook and she helps me out. So speaking of Facebook, if you are following along in this video, you've made it this far in the video, you're probably interested in the Daddykirbs story and the content and the community that's forming around the content here. You can see my new fancy shirt there. I have a new shirt that's going to be showing up in the merchandise shelf below the videos. It says I'm in the Fanily, F-A-N-I-L-Y. And that is referring to if you are a member of this community and you connect with this channel and the community forming around it, I'm calling that the Fanily, because you are a fan of the content, but you're also like family. So I have a Facebook group called Daddykirbs Fanily, and I'll put that link down below. You can join that group. Make sure that if you ask to join the group on Facebook that you are also answering the questions, because if you don't answer the questions, then you're probably not going to get into the group. It's kind of a nice place to just hang out and chat and talk about things that we do on our own homesteads. One of my sayings, one of the things that I like to repeat to myself and to my audience is, everyone has a story and every story counts. Well, one of the ways that we can connect together and share our stories is through the Fanily group. Wow, let's see. So we talked about the horses and the bees. We walked around, looked at chickens and the orchard a little bit. So let's see here. I still have the tortoises. The tortoisei. How do you say tortoises plural? Just tortoises? There's Jack. Jack's pen, Jack and Coco's pen. Oh, here's Coco. Are going to get some upgrades pretty soon. But right now, this is what they got. Hey Coco. How you doing, big guy? And the last subject for this video is, how is Luke? How are you, Luke? Good. Good? Are you real good? Or just a little good? Good. A little good. So Luke has been in the hospital. A lot of you guys who are following in the Fanily group or on my Facebook and Instagram, you know that Luke has been in the hospital. He once again was in for some lung challenges. They call, when he has trouble breathing, his lungs sort of collapse on themselves. They call that atelectasis, if I'm saying that right. And Luke has kind of a tough time getting over that. So he spent all last week in the hospital getting the breathing treatments and all those things that he needs to do to get over that. So one of the reasons he ended up with troubles was that he had to go in and get a new feeding tube, and that means he had, oh, somebody's here. So we'll wrap this up because Luke knows that somebody's here to talk to him. Anyway, Luke's doing a lot better. Not perfect, but we're hanging in there. We're giving him all the treatments that he needs here at home, the breathing treatments and you know, the nutrition through the feeding tubes and all that. So I'm going to sign off because we do have a nurse here to talk to him. And I'm just really happy that I got to share this with you tonight. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central in the live show. I do believe that everyone has a story and every story counts. So come up to the live show at 9 a.m. and let's chat. You can get to know my story a little better. Kate will be with me, and then maybe we can get to know you a little better in the chat of the live show as well. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon.